I'm not trying to be dramatic or say this just for shock value. This is really something that's been sitting in my head for a minute. And yeah, it might sound wild at first, but it's just a thought I couldn't shake once it hit me. I've been thinking about the possibility of Ja Morant actually being out the league way sooner than anybody expects. Not saying it's guaranteed, not a prediction, not something I'd bet money on. Just a real possibility based on where things are heading. If we keep it strictly hoop for a second, how many teams right now would genuinely want Ja as one of their top building blocks? Not talking about contracts or compensation, just basketball. When you really think on it, that list is tiny. Maybe Minnesota, maybe Sacramento, maybe Miami, maybe New Orleans, maybe Milwaukee, Brooklyn or Utah, maybe. But even then, once you actually start thinking about what they'd have to give up, it falls apart fast. Would Minnesota move Jaden McDaniels for Ja? Probably not. Would the Pelicans move Trey Murphy? Doubt it. Would Brooklyn hand over a first rounder this year or next? I don't see it. Would the Heat give up Kel Elware or Jaquez plus picks? Probably not. So if Memphis ever reaches a point where they're like, we're done being in the Ja business, who's out there saying, yeah, make him our franchise guy? That list gets even smaller. Sacramento might be desperate enough. Maybe. Phoenix might want him too, Cook. But what are they really giving up? Ryan Dunn, Malawach? Probably not. And once you walk that whole path through, you land at the next question. If Ja ain't someone's number one option anymore, where can he go be a true number two? Maybe Phoenix, maybe Minnesota next to a big-time scoring guard. Sure, those could fit. But the league is loaded with point guards right now. Last year, I talked about how many floating PGs were about to hit the market. That was even before the De'Aaron Fox trade went down. LaMelo might be available. Trae Young might be available. Darius Garland might hit the market if Cleveland flames out again, and Fox already got moved. If all four of those dudes are available at the same time, where does Ja rank? Realistically, he's last. Not because Ja isn't talented, we know he is. But if you're building next to your star and you got to pick between Ja or LaMelo, you probably taking LaMelo. Between Ja or Trae, you probably taking Trae because of the shooting. Same with Garland, same with Fox. Those dudes either shoot better, defend better, or fit cleaner next to other stars. Meanwhile, Ja is a small guard who can't shoot, doesn't give you elite defense, and hasn't proven he can stay healthy. And that's before even touching the off-court stuff. Another thing people don't want to admit, a lot of fans still got 2022 Ja stuck in their heads, that electric version of him who looked like he was about to take over the whole league. But that's not who he is right now. The three ball hasn't developed, the mid-range hasn't developed, even the floater. The thing that looks unstoppable when it's falling ain't actually that efficient when you look at it in comparison to other guards. The whole idea was that the skill would rise as the athleticism naturally slowed down, but those pieces haven't come together yet. And I'm not saying Ja isn't good, he's still crazy talented, but a lot of players have been in this same situation, and it usually happens to guys much older than him. Allen Iverson is the clearest example. People act like he was pushed out early. No, he played 14 years, but look at how fast it happened at the end. In 2007-08, he averaged 26 a night in Denver, made the All-Star team, and 2 years later, he was out of the league. Same kind of thing. A small guard, not efficient, game built on athleticism and touches. And once teams decided he wasn't going to be their focal point anymore, there wasn't much else he brought that made teams say, we need him. And that's the scary part with Ja. When, not if, but when a team eventually decides, we're not building around you anymore, what else does he bring that makes him stick? You look around the league, and the guys who extended their careers found ways to add value. Carmelo found a bench role. Westbrook gives you rebounding, pace, defensive spurts, leadership. Derrick Rose reinvented himself multiple times. Ja hasn't shown those layers yet, and yeah, he's young, but time moves fast in the league. He's already 26, older than people realize, and he hasn't had a single season over 70 games. And the difference between him and someone like Derrick Rose is this: Rose had people in his corner everywhere he went. Coaches trusted him, locker rooms respected him, he didn't burn bridges. With Ja, that's the complete opposite direction right now. He's already been suspended by his own team twice. The perception, fair or not, is that he's a locker room problem and a coach killer. And perception becomes reality in pro sports, even if it's not fully true. That's what sticks. Once teams decide the headache outweighs the value, you're done. And I'm not saying Ja is them. It's not the same situations. I'm just pointing out how quickly a career can flip when teams decide you're not worth the noise anymore. Derrick Rose stuck around because Tibbs believed in him as a person, not just a player. When coaches become head coaches somewhere else, they bring their guys with Ja. These same assistants and coaches he's clashed with could be in charge of other teams soon. Why would they call him? That's how a career snowballs downward. It's not about talent. It's about how many teams actually want the full package, the player, the personality, the presence, the responsibility. And right now, with Ja, that list is shrinking. It's not about whether he can still hoop. He obviously can. It's about how many teams want the full Ja experience right now. How many front offices want to commit to that long term. And if he ever hits a point where Memphis is done and no other team is willing to roll the dice on him being their cornerstone, then what? Would he accept being a role player, a third guard, a bench spark? We don't know, and that's the scary part. Do you think Ja rebounds and becomes a top guard again, or do you think he's closer to that edge than people want to admit? Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It means a lot.